It's a detail we haven't heard over the past 10 years. The unindicted co-conspirator in the Crystal Rogers murder, mom Rosemary Houck, accused by the prosecutor of being the person who put into motion the death of Crystal Rogers. Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Connie Leonard. Testimony got underway on day one of the trial. Everyone is watching, of course. And let's take a look at how we got here. 15 jurors were whittled down yesterday from a pool of more than 100. It will be a heavy lift for the prosecution, who admitted to the jury that they don't have a body, murder weapon, or even a crime scene.
Well, Connie, opening statements were right at the start of the day, where both sides laid out the roadmap to building the case. The first witness was called shortly afterward, the daughter of Crystal Rogers, Kylie Fenwick. No cameras allowed in the courtroom, so WHAS11 News has two seats. Shay McAllister is there watching it all unfold, and so much to write about and report today.
Yeah, and so Shay, what were the big takeaways from the prosecution?
Well, as you guys know, the prosecution during those opening statements gives us a roadmap to what they're going to be presenting through the next 3 weeks, and some really new information that we hadn't heard in this case before. The night that Crystal disappeared, the prosecution says Brooks Houck had promised her a kid-free night, a romantic getaway, just the two of them, and a chance to rekindle what had become a very strained relationship. Later in the day, her cousin and a friend testified. They talked to her about it. Crystal was excited for this opportunity. She didn't know where they were going or what they were doing, but she was really looking forward to it. Well, the prosecution also said they know that that romantic night together never happened. Brooks Houck is accused of taking Crystal to his family farm, where the prosecution says it was a family affair to get rid of her. We actually just learned today, for the very first time, that it was Rosemary Houck, Brooks' mom, who was the first to try to enlist help in getting rid of Crystal Rogers. We're told that conversation happened 2 weeks before she went missing. Doug, Connie?
Heard a news story from the defense about why Steve and Joey Lawson were on the Bluegrass Parkway on the night that Crystal disappeared. What did they say about that?
A brand new story we've never heard before. The defense is saying Steve Lawson and Joseph Lawson were not on the Bluegrass Parkway on that night, that they never had anything to do with Crystal's car. Of course, this is a major switch up from what we heard just 1 month ago during Steve Lawson's trial, when Steve Lawson admitted that he got a call from his son who had a flat tire driving Crystal's car. Steve Lawson told the jurors that he went down the Bluegrass Parkway to pick up his son and then drove him back to Bardstown. Well, today, the defense attorney said none of that happened. They never were on the Bluegrass Parkway. In fact, they were on a completely different road, which runs parallel to the Bluegrass Parkway. And the cell phone towers are on the Bluegrass Parkway and were pinging him from that road. They're saying that those guys were never called to get to that car. They were going to a different car for a different reason, and they're going to show that through cell phone evidence.
Well, Shay, as we learned yesterday, also from the prosecutor, there is no body, no evidence of her remains. You know, we've waited for years to find out what, if anything, about those major searches by the FBI and law enforcement, all the digs and the searches over the years. Did you learn anything about that evidence today?
Doug, we have been saying that for years. Every time there's a big search and the FBI says they find items of interest, we always say we're going to have to wait until trial to actually find out what had happened during that. Well, today we learned maybe that evidence doesn't exist. The defense at least says that there is no body, there's no murder weapon, there's no physical evidence proving that Crystal Rogers was killed or where that might have happened. Of course, we're going to have to wait and see what the prosecution comes up with, but the defense did say that all of this was millions of dollars spent, thousands of hours of investigator time, going down different rabbit holes with the prosecution just trying to make something work. They say there was immense pressure from the family. There was a huge amount of publicity on this case, and that Brooks Houck was the answer to something that they couldn't solve.
All right, Shay, so much to wrap our minds around. It's really an amazing first day, starting right out of the gate. Thank you. And More of our coverage from Shay coming right up. And WHAS 11 News tonight is continue our very thorough coverage of the trial of the decade in Kentucky. I'll be back here at 9 o'clock with our team, including WHAS 11 News legal analyst Nick Mudd. This is our special broadcast. It's 30 minutes long, wrapping up each day of the testimony and looking ahead. Here's how you can watch it. It is on our app. Download the free WHAS 11 Plus app on your TV and watch for free. Again, that is at 9 tonight. And Nick Mudd will also be with Connie and I here in just a few minutes at 5:30. Connie?
Yeah, another big update tonight. LMPD has recovered a body from the Ohio River who they believe to be a 13-year-old last seen in knee-deep water in the river Monday night. It is certainly a sad new development. Moments ago, the family publicly confirming it is their son, Derek Saunders Jr. WHAS 11's Jose Alonso and photojournalist Emma Gefter have been following this story since the first report of the drowning Monday night, and Jose is joining us live. And Jose, our thoughts and prayers are certainly with this family as you just spoke again with his mother.
Doug, Connie, that's right. I spoke with Derek Saunders Jr.'s mother. That's Lakeisha Saunders. And she was telling me this is just an unbearable moment for them right now. And this comes just after they were planning for him to go to high school in the next school year. And this was all before he was tragically taken away by the Ohio River. And that was on Monday night. And the Jefferson County Coroner's Office also identifying him as that person, saying this was an accident and his cause of death is consistent with drowning. But the Sky 11 drone, want to show you the video we have from there about how far and wide the LMPD had to make that search. And Derek Saunders Jr. was in the Ohio River with family and friends in knee-deep water. That's when the current swept them all under as they tried to get back to shore. Derek never resurfaced. Louisville Metro Police dive teams and air units had been scouring the water since. Officials say it was around 10:30 this morning when they recovered a body about a mile downstream from the Greenwood boat ramp. The family told me Saunders recently graduated 8th grade at Conway Middle School. His mom opened up about how this tragedy has been impacting them for days now.
My children are having night terrors. They're having survivor's guilt. It's been very hard night. So after so many days, you know, you have to start, even a few days, you know, of somebody not being able to be found, you have to start thinking about the inevitable. And I'm saying, please, God, as a parent, I don't think I can be at home and with my son not home, lost in the river.
Although this is a tragedy, the family is relieved to have Derek's body so they can give him a proper funeral. They want to clarify that the teens were not fully swimming in the river and knew better not to do so, but they did not anticipate to be in danger in knee-high waters. Now, as far as support, the family is saying they're very thankful for the outpour of prayers and thoughts, and now they got to move on into what's next, and that's the funeral arrangements. And they also plan to host a memorial here at the Greenwood boat ramp as well later this week. No confirmed date yet. But if you want to help them through this tragic time, we have a link to their fundraiser that's on our website, WHAS11.com. Reporting live in Louisville, Jose Alonso, WHAS 11 on your side.
Jose, thank you so much. We appreciate that.
And again, the sweltering heat, a heat index well over 100 again for Kentuckiana. And meteorologist Julie Martin is joining us again, filling in for Mallory Schnell. And so how hot did it get today with that heat index there, Julie?
Yeah, up to 97. That we topped out at 97 officially today, Doug, with that heat index around 106. So once again, we are under an excessive heat advisory here in orange. Hot everywhere you look here across Kentuckiana, and we're going to have at least one more day of this before we start to see some big improvements. Right now, temperatures are, well, showing that I'm wrong. 99 degrees here officially downtown right now. A little cooler at the airport, which is usual. So 96 is usually where we take those readings. However, we zoom out and we're looking at those mid to high 90s pretty much everywhere across the viewing area, and factoring in that humidity, well over 100 degree feels like temperatures. So we do have another weather impact alert issued for today through tomorrow. That is Thursday. That's when we're going to see some more heat and some more humidity. So I know you're trying to stay cool out there, stay hydrated. Still very important as we head into tomorrow to continue to do just that. For tonight, we'll see mostly clear skies. Temperatures really not cooling off enough, down to 78 degrees. By the way, our low temperature yesterday was 80, so that should tell you something right there. This is just very abnormal, not good news in terms of what heat does on the body, which, you know, we all know it just wears on us here. So 96 degrees, that is in the forecast for our high tomorrow. It's going to be a similar situation. We still have that humid air in place, and so we've got about one more day before we can get that on out of here. At least start to gradually see some improvements as we edge toward the weekend. I'll detail more on that in your full forecast. That's coming up in just a few minutes. Doug and Connie.
Julie, thank you very much. More of our top stories for you here tonight at 5. Heartbreaking news today out of Jackson County, Indiana, where a 4-year-old boy and a 68-year-old woman died in a tractor accident. The Sheriff's Department said it happened at about 7:40 p.m. last night in the Redding Township of southern Indiana. Officers said the young boy and a woman had been hit by the farm tractor. Both died at the hospital. No other explanation was given as to how this happened. The Jackson County, Indiana Sheriff's Department is currently investigating. Also new tonight here at 5 o'clock, the Louisville jail says it is short right now by 68 sworn officers. It's one of several law enforcement agencies with a staffing shortage.
That's right. And today was the department's second recruitment event of the summer. Focus reporter Travis Breeze tells us what their message was to prospective recruits.
Hello, sir. How are you doing today? We're hiring for correctional officers as well as our non-sworn positions, which is office work.
At the Angels Envy Club at L&N Stadium, there were over 25 booths set up. Officer Lachey Bearden was trying to get people to work at the jail.
You interested in working with Metro Corrections, a career with us? If they have the drive and the will to help others to become better, you know, not every individual incarcerated is a bad person.
One person who stepped up to the booth was Chance Barnes.
The pay was remarkably high for most jobs that you can get an entry-level position for.
The starting pay for corrections officers is $24.44 an hour. There's also a lot of overtime. Because of the staff shortage, most officers are required to work 16 hours of overtime per week.
Forced overtime is never a good thing. You always want it to be an option, never something that you have to do to keep your job.
I asked Corrections Chief Jerry Collins about this a few weeks ago. Can you ever get to a point where you can do away with the mandatory overtime?
Yeah, there's been, well, I've seen this ebb and flow over 25 years where you do that. Now, everyone knows now what we have done is that 16 hours of overtime that they're working, we let them schedule that. So you're able to schedule your overtime. So if you have something with your family, if you have something that's going on, you can schedule your overtime.
The department has made progress just in the last few months. In late April, a spokesperson said they were 70 to 90 officers short out of 400. This week, it's 68 short.
Well, you're never too old.
Officer Bearden says some of her favorite moments are meeting an inmate on the inside and then reconnecting with them when they're released.
They always thank me for not treating them like a convict or anything, you know, not judging them.
While working in the jail isn't for everyone, she feels it is rewarding.
Here's my card if you have any questions.
And adding new recruits could help with burnout. In Louisville, Travis Breeze, WHAS11 on your side.
And the jail is hiring for both sworn and non-sworn positions.
Well, no experience is required to apply for the sworn officer positions for the downtown jail. The department will pay you during your 13 weeks of training.